Hey,
How are you?
I was gonna ask you, how's it doing?
We're good. Thanks for your patience. We had to switch rooms.
Yeah, it's okay, but thanks for willing to do this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I assume Cindy is with you right now?
I am right here.
Well, hello at last, Cindy. How's it doing?
Ah, I'm doing quite well, thank you.
Thanks for willing to do this, you two.
Yeah,
It,
absolutely.
it's
Wish we had a camera so we could show you our faces as well.
It's okay. That happens with my old friend of mine who does it with a lot of voice actors.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
But anyway, I have many questions I wanted
All
to
right.
ask
Line them up.
Let him fly.
you. Tell me, how is it like being a voice actor in many animated shows?
You want to take that one?
Wow, it's awesome. I mean, for me, it kind of happened unexpectedly. I didn't really set out to do that. I was a musical theater gal in New York City for a long time. And when I moved out to Los Angeles, I came out to sing jingles in commercials. But about that time, they stopped writing original songs for commercials and they started licensing um, pop songs. So it was kind of like, oh, now what? And I ended up meeting a writer and he said, hey, I can get you an audition. And it happened to be for an anime called GTO way back in the day. And I booked it. And so then it just kind of built from there. So I love it. I mean, you get to hop on a mic and be somebody completely different for a while. It's awesome.
I see. Well, what of you, Chris? What do you think?
Well, I have wanted to do this since I was about 6 years old. And so every time I go into the booth, my inner 6-year-old is very happy. Um, let's see, how did I get started? Like I said, it's just something that I've always wanted to do. I moved to Los Angeles straight out of high school and immediately started pursuing voiceover. I was lucky enough to study with a couple of voiceover legends, and I started work in the early '80s. I worked on Robotech and Captain Harlock.
Cool.
Um, I was third guy from the left who screams when he blows up, and did that for a while, and then I graduated to characters with actual names, and it's been that way off and on ever since.
I
I would say
see.
I've had a lot of other jobs in my life as I was continuing to pursue voiceover, but the love of voiceover was always there. I always wanted to hear my voice come out of a cartoon character.
I see. So that's what makes you good. But which leads to the one most important question for the two of you here. But how did you get into voice acting?
Like I said, I met a writer when I had first moved into town. And that's kind of what happened. When I got into looping for TV and film stuff, it was because I did a freebie. Somebody asked me to do a favor for them and do a test. They were trying to sell a show, and I went in and I did all the little boy characters and all the female characters. And at the end of it, he introduced himself, and I ended up doing a whole lot of looping for TV and film after that. But that was pretty much it. Luck of the draw is what happened for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
See.
being really, really good.
No, thanks, babe.
Yeah.
I'll
What
keep
about
it.
you, Chris? How did you get into voice acting?
Well, when I moved to LA, as I had said, I was privileged to study with two voiceover legends. A woman by the name of Ginny Tyler, who was very prominent at Hanna-Barbera and Disney, and a man named Dawes Butler. Dawes was the voice of Yogi Bear and Huckleberry Hound and Quick Draw McGraw, and so the yeah, he was sort of the voice of my generation, and I was very, very lucky to get to study with him for about 6 years. I studied with him up until he died, and that has served me. The lessons that I learned there have served me very well ever since, because he was not just about doing voices. He would tell us, okay, yeah, you can do a funny voice, but everybody can do a funny voice. We're going to teach you how to act. And acting without a camera or acting without an audience is very different than having a camera or an audience. So that's kind of my story in short, in brief.
So this is how the two of you got into voice acting, because of the whole experience you've learned from your two great heroes, Jenny Taylor, as I say, of Hanna-Barbera, and what was the other one again?
Dawes Butler.
Yes, that one. But anyway, for the two of you here, why do you like playing in animated shows and games that much? To what end?
Well, I mean, it's a great job to have. It's first of all, I mean, it allows you to be somebody that you're not. The cool thing about voice acting is I like to joke that I'm 4'11", but my voice is 6'2". So I don't look anything like I sound. And that's it's a great way to keep working in the business, which chose me. I didn't really choose it. It chose me. It's like something I've always done. And that way I can continue to work, because there's not always a face that goes along with it, because I sound so different from what I look like. So that's what works for me.
Yeah. And I on the other hand, I did choose it. Like I said, I wanted to do this since I was 6. I was a huge fan of old school anime. When I was a little kid, I would watch the reruns of Speed Racer, and Kimba the White Lion and Astro Boy. And I remember being about 6 years old and thinking, oh, wow, I want to die and come back as Kimba the White Lion. Luckily, I didn't. But I also had no idea how animation worked at the time. I have a much better working knowledge of animation now. And I did not have to die in order to have the career.
I'm glad about that.
I'm glad too. I'm not sure I would have actually gone through with it, given the choice.
Oh, I see. So that's why you like playing in animated shows, because of the things that you liked back when you were 6, like when you mentioned to me about Speed Racer and stuff like that. Am I correct?
Exactly.
Very good. Which leads me to the questions about all the characters that the two of you played. But for you, Christopher, in the show Gurren Lagann, what was your favorite part about playing the character Kettenbach?
Oh, well, even though it's been about 15 years since we did that show, it is still one of my favorite animes of all time, and also one of my favorite projects to have worked on. Keaton was such a fun character, and they gave me a lot of latitude in terms of coming up with his character and what he sounded like. I love the epic scope of the show. It was just so much fun. Plus, I got to be in the company of Steve Bloom and Yuri Lowenthal and Kylie Bear, and it was
Kyle
really,
Herbert.
He actually pronounces it Bear.
It's not Herbert.
Yeah.
It's Bear. There's a picture of him that he posted, and it's like, this is how you say my name. And he has a teddy bear next to him, and it says a bear. So no, he doesn't say Herbert.
Yeah.
He says a bear.
Because that's what I used to call him when I first met him. And
I think we all did.
He corrected me.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's just
I've been seeing.
It's just I saw your show actually, and it's turning out awesome. As for you, Sandy Robinson, sorry, but in the show Code Geass, what was your favorite part about playing the character V2?
Oh goodness, that one, you're pulling things out from a long time ago. I don't really remember specifically. I do remember that it was a really interesting character, and they had a really hard time finding a voice for for him, because it was very androgynous, as I recall. And at that time, what was Kevin's last name? Trying to remember my
Seymour?
directors. Yes, Kevin
Yeah.
Seymour. Oh yeah, we lost him a while ago.
Sweet.
But yeah, he was one of the first guys that would take a risk, or that would take a risk on me. So yeah, I just remember, I remember the studio a lot. And what was your favorite part about V2?
Well, let's just say that I've learned about her reasoning why she's been a villain this whole time, and
Yeah,
why she's been working with her brother Charles Z. Britannia, which he is voiced by Michael McConney in the show.
Oh,
Michael
Michael.
McConaughey,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was there you go. See, I like to hear what you think about it, because it obviously is something that triggered your brain, that made you go, oh, I like this one the most. So it always is interesting to me to hear what you like about it.
Yes, that's very good to hear from you, because I've watched Code Geass, and
Have
I've
you?
gotta say you did very excellent, Cindy
Thank you.
Robinson, playing the character, of course,
Thank
along
you.
with of course a bunch of great voice actors in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh,
But
yeah.
anyway, for you, Mr. Christopher Corey Smith, how
Yes,
is
sir.
it like playing the character Rotoro Abashi in the show Bleach?
Oh, wow. I'm gonna have to think, because I played so many characters in Bleach, and the show ran for so
Forever.
long.
Because
Ah,
your character Rotoro is the one with the blonde hair, and he was like, "Sorry, if I had much time like this, I would have been
oh,
here to help you guys like this."
yes, yes, yes. Soft spoken yet dangerous. Yeah. Um, for a while there, I was playing a lot of those types of characters. I was playing sort of
One of
bad,
the Vizards.
yeah, bad guys that were just sort of were a little soft spoken and a little uh what's the word I'm looking for?
Actually, you played two bad guys, and you played one
Yeah,
good guy.
there were a few in there. I was the bad guy of the week for a while. They would bring me in, and I remember Mary Elizabeth would
McGlenn.
McGlenn, yes, would say, "Oh, I have a lovely psychopath for you today." So I would just show up, and they would go, "Here, you're a bad guy."
Psychos are us for you.
But Rotoro was he was fun, because he continued for a little while. He didn't just show up in one episode and die in the next. So that might have been my favorite part. My favorite thing about him.
He was recurring.
He was recurring. Bad guys don't always recur. They don't have the longevity of the good guys. They, by their very nature, they kind of get done in by the good guy.
Right.
And
Oh, I
then
see.
the good guy lives to fight another day.
That's very good to hear from you. As for you, Cindy, how is it like playing Kukaku Shiba and Kiyone Katsu in Bleach?
Okay, well, as I recall, Kukaku Shiba was kind of a warrior gal, yeah?
Yep, you're correct.
Yeah, pretty hardcore. And then the other one, which one was the other one?
Kiyone Katsu, who
Oh,
sounded
right.
like Amy Rose.
It sounded like Amy. I don't remember that. I remember that one being kind of this it's kind of a screechy gal. Yeah, kind of like that. Am I correct? Is that the one that I'm thinking of?
You are correct. The
Yeah,
one who
yeah, yeah,
sound
yeah,
more
yeah,
like
yeah. That's
Amy
a little
Rose.
different than Amy Rose. Amy Rose was more like this. This is what she sounded like. But yeah, no, those were fun. Those were kind of for a while, that's pretty much what I did. Was I played warrior gals, a bunch of warrior gals, or a bunch of a bunch of really rough tomboy kind of characters. So no, those were great. Those were super fun. And again, they kept coming back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that was I had a great time. I had a great time.
I see.
What other questions you got? What other characters are you interested in there?
For the two of you here, well, we're Chris, of course, but what was your favorite thing about being in the game Fire Emblem as Thals?
I'll tell you the most amazing thing about it is, one, how long it's gone on for, and two, the fan response. Because when you start a game, you go in and you're like, oh yeah, this is fun. I get to do this for a while, and I get to be multiple characters. And I think at this point I've done eight or nine characters in the Fire Emblem series. But just the fan response blew me away. I was not expecting that, and it was wonderful, because I love the feeling of doing work that people respond to. And the way that we find out about that is to interact with the fans. Because otherwise we're just in a padded room all by ourselves, which is not nearly as much fun. So I would have to say the best part of it was getting the fan response.
I see. Because all I know is that I've played a lot of Fire Emblem, and I saw your voices in there,
Do you?
know. But you playing Thals, it's quite very magnificent, actually.
Oh,
Especially
thank
when
you
it
very
comes to
much.
playing a lot of villains.
I do. I play a lot of bad guys.
We
Because,
like to play the bad guys.
And for the most part, I actually played the recent game called Fire Emblem Three Hopes.
Yes.
But anyway, for you, Cindy Robinson, what was your favorite thing about being in Sonic the Hedgehog as Amy Rose?
Oh, I love Sonic the Hedgehog. It will always be a major part of my heart. It was terrific, especially during the Sonic Boom years when we were doing the series. Those were some of the most enjoyable cast records I've ever been a part of with the cartoon series. And I think we had a really, really talented group of writers and creators on that. And of course, with Roger and Colleen, just Colleen and I would break into song because she and I like to sing show tunes together. So that was terrific. I really enjoyed the entire series, and the fact that they let Amy have an opportunity to be really a kick-ass kind of gal and hold her own. She was a strong female character. So I really appreciated that. It was a good time.
I see. So this is what you like about playing the character Amy Rose. Because all I know is that I've been playing Sonic the Hedgehog for years, and it turns out you are quite excellent playing the character Amy Rose.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, for you, Mr. Christopher Corey Smith.
Sir, yes, sir.
What was the best thing about playing the character Kite in Hunter x Hunter?
He's a badass. And so I appreciated that. The funny story was that they knew Kite was coming a couple of years before he actually showed up, and they reached out to me and they asked me to audition for Kite. And so I did, and I had a good time doing it. And then nothing happened. Just time passed and time passed and time passed. And I swear it seemed like 2 years. 2 years passed. And the next thing I know, I get a call and they said, would you like to play Kite? And I'm like, you mean I got it? It didn't go, yes, I would love to. And so I had a wonderful time. I love working with Tony Oliver, who was the director. I think it was a great arc in the show, and I got to be in it with my lovely wife, Cindy Robinson. You know,
That's me, wife Cindy Robinson.
wife Cindy Robinson. It is.
Yeah, because I actually watched Hunter x Hunter, and I've
Yeah.
gotta say, you did very excellent playing that character, along with Christina V, Erica Mendez, and so many others.
So many others. So many others. We were just hanging out with Keith Silverstein over the weekend, who's also, I
In
believe, in
Hunter.
Hunter x Hunter. And we were talking about
Hisuka.
yes, we were talking about what a great show it is.
Yep, he's a good dude.
He is.
Is that the one where I'm the spider that eats you?
You're the Chimera Ant Queen.
It's
Okay.
true. He's saying the truth.
Yes. It's okay. It's okay.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
What else you got?
for you, Cindy Robinson,
Yes.
what was the best part about playing Queen Beryl in Sailor Moon?
Oh, well, basically the fact that her little fingers, I don't know if you remember the pictures, the animation, but she just kind of like sits in front of her crystal ball and just does this like, come to me kind of fingers. And we laughed about that. The engineer director, Susie Gold, and I laughed about that over and over and over and over again. Just those fingers. So that was a great time. We had a really good time with Queen Beryl.
I see.
Yeah.
Because all I know is that I've been seeing Sailor Moon,
Oh, Sailor Moon's been around forever and ever.
Yes.
And it was so thrilling to get to do to dub the original. They didn't reanimate the stuff. It was the original animations, and so that was I don't know, it was a big honor to be able to do that.
Of course. That it's because I've seen Sailor Moon, and I've gotta say, you did very excellent playing that character, Which character that you have played in the past has been the most challenging for you to play as for the two of you, and why?
Ooh, the most challenging. I would say that for me, it was Erica the Red on Powerpuff Girls was really tough. It was a hard voice and it was a really tough accent to master. And it was that was a rough one. That was a rough one, and walking out of that was kind of scratchy on the throat. The other one was, oh my goodness. Oh, I can't remember the name of the game, but it was a character I did right early on. That was she was kind of a female Jack Nicholson, and it was really hard on the throat. And when I came in for the second session, they said it was a pickup session, and pickup sessions are usually like a few lines here and there. It was 500 lines because they had all of these lines, but they wanted them at 3 different levels of volume. Oh, that was probably the hardest session I've ever been in. That was rough.
Oh, I
Clive
see.
Barker's Jericho, that's what it was.
Oh,
Clive Barker's Jericho is the name of that game.
Based on the TV show?
Based on the book
Oh.
that he did.
See.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What about you,
Dave?
Christopher?
Well, for different reasons, Lego Joker was probably the most challenging. And for landing the job was not the hardest part, although I worked very hard to get it. The hard part was when I showed up for my first day of recording, and I was in a room with Troy Baker and Steve Bloom and Laura Bailey and Travis Willingham and Rob Paulson and 2 of the other Ninja Turtles from the 80s, directed by the 4th Ninja Turtle from the 80s, Cam Clark. And I just stood there and I looked at everybody, and I had the song going through my head. One of these things is not like the other. I just didn't know that I belonged there. And the very first project that we did started off with the Joker laugh and then a monologue. And so everybody else is just sitting down. I'm standing next to Troy Baker, and he's sitting down. Steve Bloom's sitting down. Rob Paulson's on the other side of me sitting down. So I'm like bookended by these legends. And they hit record. I did the laugh. I did my monologue, and then I looked around the room, and everybody was quiet and was looking at me, and I was like, well, was that okay? And then everybody just applauded, and Rob Paulson looks over at me and he goes, not bad, kid. And on the outside, I was very composed. I was like, well, thank you very much, Mr. Paulson. That's very nice of you to say. I really appreciate your critique. But on the inside, I was like, oh my God, Rob Paulson said I wasn't bad. So I guess I did rise to the occasion. But it was challenging and nerve-wracking.
Oh, I see. So that's what's been the most challenging for you two, because all I know is that for you, Christopher, I've heard your voices since the Joker. I even made a video about the Joker comparison voices. And
Did you?
my friend, are one of them.
Thank you.
It's what I do. Plus, I can't get everybody to forget about you. I just cannot stand by and let it happen.
Well, I appreciate that. The check is in the mail.
Of course, that is what I usually do. Well, for the two of you, I'm very happy I got to talk to you, and I hope you did very well, my friend.
Thank you.
So, I guess I'll see you around, my friend.
All right.
And I hope everybody knows about this.
So much.
All right.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you. And
You too.
good luck with your other podcasts and with Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War.